Hello, hello, VIPs. Yep, another video. Can you believe it? But like I keep saying, 2025 is very different. 2025 is the year of we're done. We're done. We're done with the BS. I'm done, me personally, with A, proving myself. I'm done with B, getting messages that I'm afraid to put out there because, people may not be ready to hear that. But you know what? They're coming through. There's a reason, so I'm putting them out there. I'm just done. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Don't listen. It's fine. Look, clearly I'm not doing this channel for an income. I don't make anything off this. I've only invited actual VIP members. I don't, advertise it or anything. It's not monetized. I'm just putting out the stuff that comes through. 2025, we're done. We're done. Okay, so messages coming through. Very first thing I heard, your sister has been talking about you. Actually, before I even get into that, let me say this. A few things happened over the last few weeks. So first, it seems like all of May, I kept talking to people and they would talk about or they'd get messages that their intuition is really developing in this time, or they'll talk about signs they're noticing, and people are really getting in touch with their intuition, being able to hear their guides. A few people got messages that their guides are trying to figure out the best way to communicate, and like I'm always saying, you have to kind of find the language between you and your guides, because everybody's language is different. Their guides communicate differently, or their guides recognize that you communicate differently, and you have to figure that out. So I've gotten that a lot of people are sort of in this process of their guides trying to find out the best way to reach you. So they may give you impressions or feelings or signs, or lights will flicker around your house, or small things to catch your attention without really trying to scare you. But if you do get scared, you can say, back off, you're scaring me. They'll listen. They're just trying to figure it out. So because of that, I thought, oh no, do I need to put together another package to teach people how to listen to their guides and recognize when their guides are trying to talk to them and blah, blah. I'm like, I can't possibly do that. I've got too much already. But I think I have it figured out, because then I talked to somebody else I was coaching with, you know who you are, and we were talking about how group is better, right? Because you can teach a group of people all at once without, I can teach 10 people without having to schedule in 10 one-on-ones. So I think I'm going to do that. I have to write it. It's not written yet. But a group, which would be way more cost effective for you. And I won't have to come up with so much time. And since we have the YouTube channel, that's where it can be. I won't have to figure out we got to figure out Zoom and blah, blah, blah. It can just be up there. I'm working on it. I'll figure it out. If you're not going through this, you don't care. But those of you that I've been talking to about you getting signs and that your spirit guides are trying to reach out to you and blah, 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 we'll figure that out here within the next couple weeks. Okay, moving on. Yep, as always, I'm inside, I'm outside. Okay. So kept getting your sister's talking about you, your sister's talking about you. My sister's talking about me? That's not surprising. But nope, I think it's a message. So we're gonna just go with it. Your sister's talking about you. Chatty, very chatty. So before you waste your time on a video that's not for you, if that makes no sense to you, my sister would never talk bad about me, then this isn't for you. But this would be this is not surprising. You either don't get along with your sister, or your sister's gossipy, or now it came through a sister. It could just be someone in their feminine energy. I feel like it's a sister. It doesn't have to be. Okay, so most likely you came from a family where they do this. They talk about each other, and like I said, this will not surprise you that your sister's been talking about you, but you sort of pulled back from that. You either completely pulled away and you're not in contact with your family, or you're in the process. Sorry, always got alerts going off. Somebody's always wanting something. Or you're in the process of you're recognizing the patterns in your family, and you're just I don't want to be in that toxic energy. And I feel like that is sort of what's pushing this gossip this time. When families have control of us and we recognize it and pull away, then they panic and want to get things back under control, or control how other people see you. So if you start speaking truth, hopefully people won't believe what you're saying. It's like that. gossipy, very gossipy. Even now, it's like your sister's still talking about you. There's something about like, okay, so gossiping about you, but then also saying something. Sorry, it's getting loud. Saying something, hoping it will get to you to try to get a reaction. Yep, got too loud. Come inside. This is why I can see. This is why I cannot do sessions during the day, because there's always interruptions. Always. Okay. So as I'm coming in, I got something about butterflies. Somebody look out for butterflies. That's part of your signs from your guides, be it actual butterflies when you're outside or coming inside, or like in emails or ads, or like you're supposed to be looking for butterflies. Also, something about unexpected support. If you're in something or something comes up soon and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this, like some kind of unexpected support comes in and gets you through. Or something's being given back to you. Suddenly you've got a lot of resources. I feel like I need to say finances, but like support. There might be a job where you were let go and it was like unfair, like you should not have been let go. Yeah, because this kind of feels like either like a work situation or like a living situation. It doesn't feel like romance or anything like that. But the key here is that like it was unfair. It was unfair, and it's going to be made right. And because of that, you're gonna and it's just showing up like you don't expect it. And it gives you a lot of resources. What this is now, I'm being shown. Okay, you know how I'm always talking about like you're on your path and you have to turn this way and that way and blah blah blah. They're showing me like a fork in the road in your path, and you had to make a decision to walk away from something. And this would be very recent or coming up very soon. Like this is supposed to be your verification. You made the right choice. Because there was something you chose to walk away from that wasn't for your highest good. You made the right choice. I don't know what this is, but something's coming very, very fast. Some kind of where you feel like I have no idea how I'm going to get through this, or how I'm going to pay for this, or where I'm going to move to, or something. And something comes in very quickly, almost rescuing you, because of something that was unfair before. Fast. It's moving very fast. And butterflies again. Payback. Being paid something back? But it's something you kind of had to stand up for yourself. And I think that was the choice when they're saying you like reached a fork in the road and you had to make a choice and you don't know if you made the right. You did make the right choice. It has something to do with sticking up for yourself because something was very unfair. And because you made that choice, something comes in very quickly to, again, it feels like almost rescue you. Yeah, they make it feel like something just falls in your lap. Justice. This is justice. This is divine justice. Whatever this was could have been illegal. There's something about this that was illegal, not on your end. Or like somebody found a loophole to do something to you, or tried to use some kind of loophole. I just can't get over that. It feels very unfair. Like you feel like this was very unfair. Or this might... Now we're coming back to family, so this might have something to do with family and that sister that's been talking about you. Somebody did something very irrational. Like they didn't think it through. It was a spur of the moment thing. The way I'm feeling it is like somebody who has no kind of like emotional regulation, like no self-control. So they just did it. It's somebody very immature and I want to say a little bit petty. But whatever was taken from you or whatever was done that was unfair, you're getting it back soon. Really, really soon. And people are going to be upset about it. The people involved in whatever this was. Whatever. Who cares if they're upset? Nobody cared that you were upset when this happened, whatever it was. So, but people are going to be upset. People are going to be jealous that you get whatever this is. This somehow it changes your life. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, you're going to be a millionaire, but somehow this changes your life. And I don't know what this is, but for some reason, okay, so let's say somebody took something from you, or I don't know, like a landlord unfairly kicked you out of the house, or a boss unfairly fired you or something. You're going to get compensated for it. You're going to get your justice for it. And then people are going to try to act like it's no big, like they don't want you to enjoy it. They're going to act like, I don't know how to say this. They're like upset about it. So they're going to try to act like it's not a big deal. Something about this gives you more independence. And if you haven't figured this out, the more independent a person can be, the more high vibrational a person can be, the less people seem to like it. So you're going to get a lot more jealousy, but I feel like if this is for you, you're at the point where you don't even care about that anymore. If this is for you, we have probably discussed this about how the empaths and the light workers and whatever, we're always getting jealousy thrown our way. So you're just, whatever. Okay. Because there's people who turned a blind eye to whatever this is that happened. Whatever this was that was taken from you. They could have done something and they didn't. So, that just reinforces the fact that, like, when they're jealous or when they try to downplay or whatever, like, who cares? Who cares? They're not in your corner anyway. Something is like, something happened. It was unfair. You get the justice, and whatever this is, it's coming fast and it changes your life. And you're getting this because you've been putting in the work. You've healed something very big. You've healed something very big. It's almost like this was allowed to happen because it would put you in a place where you could go heal. And so the test was, will you heal? Will you go and heal? Or will you, how some people, oh, well, people did me dirty, I'm going to go do other people dirty. Like, it was a test like that, and you passed. Rather than like retaliate or go take it out on other people, you turned in and you healed. Okay, so you have done the work. And this is why you're getting this justice that apparently changes your life in some way. But then there's something about how someone else was given the same test, and they did not do the work. They did not look inward. They, you know how before you start healing, before you start your quote-unquote awakening, like, something will happen and you kind of stew over it. And I'm guilty, I did it. You stew over it. I should have said this, I should have did that, and da-da-da. Like, there's something about how you have outgrown that, or you're outgrowing that because you're doing the work and this other person hasn't. Like, they have, I don't know why this is important, but they have no concept of how to communicate other than like through arguments, through manipulation, that kind of thing. And there's something about how you, and this is not a dig at you because we all kind of start there, but like maybe you started that way, but you outgrew that, or you're outgrowing that, and this other person has not. There's something about how there's like a commonality between you and this person. I want to say, I don't know if this is still the sister message. I want to say it's this sister, but it doesn't have to be. But there's something about how like you kind of grew up the same way, or you thought the same way, you reacted the same way, but you have outgrown that and this person didn't. They're kind of stuck there. Because I'm almost getting the feeling like this could be a really good person if they just put in the work to like heal those things. And we all have the things we have to heal, things we learned growing up, or learn, we all have to do that. But if you don't do it, you don't grow. This other person hasn't done it, and you have. I don't know, I feel like they haven't taken the time. They're still very much stuck in their image. And this comes up a lot because a lot of people are stuck here where it's all about the facade and like pretending to be a really good person, but it's all just for show. And they're still stuck in that because, again, to do the real healing work, you have to take the time to look inward, which means you have to spend some time with yourself. And I feel like they can't be alone. They can't be alone. They kind of need external validation constantly. But again, there's something to how you're either no longer in contact with this person, or like you've removed your energy from like this person, this environment, you distance yourself. There's something about that. Or like you only, like, you are not quote unquote in the inner circle of your family, if this is for you, okay? You are sort of like the black sheep or the scapegoat, or like I said, you've cut ties, or maybe you only go home for the holidays, or like there's some aspect of that to this. or like I said, you cut them off altogether. I don't know. But again, this is like very immature energy. So this is either just like an immature family member, sibling, whatever, or like there's a distance in age. Like if you have a sibling that's much younger than you or much older than you, there's some difference in like the maturity level. And something about their thought process is like they can fix things with money. We'll throw money at problems. I did this horrible thing to you. I got caught here. Here's some money, like that, or like that kind of manipulation. Like I can just keep doing what I want to do, and if I get caught here, I'll give this to you, and you go away, like that. And there's some jealousy too, like I feel like I'm starting to see you making progress in life, and maybe I even recognize it's because you've done the work. It's like I want to be there, but I don't even realize like if I had done the work I would be where you are. Like there's some jealousy to that. Like I want to be in because you're in your harvest era, you're in your justice year, you're in your, do you know what I mean? Like all the things you've been through and all the things you've healed and worked on, like it's all culminating into you are now in your spring, right? Things are blossoming for you. Your manifestations are coming in, and this person sees that and they're very jealous of it. But it's like, had you done the work, you would be right here with me. Like you would be in your harvest area. You know what I mean? Like things would be happening for you too, but they didn't do the work, and they're just so blind to the fact that like you have to take the time to do the work. They haven't healed anything. They just keep showing me like this person doesn't even see the like complexity of it all. Like how you have to reprogram yourself and heal your stuff and work on being a better person and keeping your vibe high, and like they don't see the layers of all the things you're doing and learning, and like they don't even see all that. They just see things are going well for you now, and they hate that. And they more than that, they want to be in the energy you're in. Like they want that for themselves, but it's like, do you even get like what I had to do to get here? Like this didn't just happen overnight. This was, decades of work that I did. I've got the same thing going on, so I get it. I say it all like this. You think this is just some lucky thing? No, years and years it took me to heal stuff. You gotta start somewhere, but they don't want to start. All right, so shut up. There's a little bit of residual energy in you from this. There's a little bit of, your guys are just saying, you're going to need to release a little something, and it's all part of the healing. But there's a little residual, like maybe you don't think of it as much as you did when you were wrapped up in it all. But every once in a while, if you think of this person, it's like, you did this and you did that, and I should have never helped you. And you know what I mean? They're just saying there's just a little bit of that you still have to release, but you're doing very, very well. So don't beat yourself up. But it's not like I said, like when you're in it and that's all you see. Like I was there. All I thought about was like, this person manipulated that, and this person took that, and I should have said this, and I should have did that. And then, I progressed, I healed a little more, and I didn't think about it very much. But then when I did think about them, I still had that in there. Like, I can't believe I let her get away with it. They're just saying you just got that little bit of residual to work through. You're doing great. It's coming. I don't know if this person does like spell work or like there's something about spoken words. Or like I said, maybe they just gossip a lot. But again, there's something about like your sister's been talking about you. They've got a lot of blockages to their own growth that like they keep putting those blockages in place. Like we grow up a certain way and we're not really responsible for what we're taught, like when we're a kid or in our teens or even our 20s. But once you're in your 30s and older, you start getting out in the world and seeing like, maybe that wasn't right and maybe I should work on that, or you know what I mean? At this point, this person's grown enough to be responsible for their own negative karma. Do you know what I mean? Because they haven't done the work. They haven't, and I don't feel like it's not like they don't recognize certain things in themselves. They just don't care. They just don't care to, this is what works for me, and I'm going to stay doing it. I'm going to manipulate people. I'm going to gossip about people, whatever it is. And they're making blockages for themselves. And so there's something about you kind of in this background, quietly building your life, quietly, working on your stuff, quietly building your independence, whatever it is. You're just staying out of everybody's way, and sort of now you're getting the fruits of your labor, as they say. Because there's something important about, even if you're tempted to, you're not like going back and rubbing it in people's faces. Do you know what I mean? Like if you walked away, just as an example, if you had like a toxic family environment and you kind of walked away from that or like distance yourself, and now things are starting to get progressively better, you're not jumping back over there like, haha, look at this. Like, you're just doing it quietly in your own little area of the world. You're getting props for that from your guides. And it's really going to feed into what you manifest for yourself. Like, I don't want to say it this way, but like you're going to be rewarded for that, because a lot of people would do that. A lot of people would, cut themselves off and then build something and then go back and rub it in everyone's face, and you're not doing that. But there's something this person wants to like smooth over with you. Something they did. But they don't know how. And there's something about how they don't, okay, this is hard to explain. They don't know how to show love, even though that's kind of what their persona is. Like their whole persona is they're loving and caring and whatever, but again, that's like a facade, and so they don't actually know how to show love. And there's something about wanting attention. They're quietly trying to get attention. Like they want attention a lot, but they act like someone who doesn't want attention, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain this, and again, I know this very well. This is somebody who is constantly trying to get attention, but they portray themselves as somebody that like, I don't really need attention. I'll just be here helping the needy, and like I don't know. That's their whole persona, is somebody who is just very giving and loving, but don't don't praise me, but did I tell you what I did for these people? Like, something like, I know people like this. But this person's like that. They desperately need attention, but they act like they don't want any attention at all. What do they want from you? I'm hearing neurotic. Somebody's neurotic. And again, something that's similar between you and this person. In the way you I don't know how to say this. You could have been very much the same, but you went one way, they went the other. So, for example, I'll just speak for my family. I had 2 narcissistic parents. My siblings could have gone the route of also becoming narcissists or going the opposite route and becoming an empath. They chose to go towards the narcissist. Like, there's something like that very similar. Like, you could have been the same, but you went one way and they went the other. In particular, my sister could have, I honestly believe my sister could get messages, but she's blocked because she chose to go the, gaslighting manipulation route. There's something like that, and that you see that you could have been, they could have been in their harvest area like you are, but they chose the other route, or something like that. Or something that you overcame that they did not. Something you overcame in the way that you, process information or process emotions or something like that, had you not worked through that, it would have held you back, and they did not work through that, so it holds them back. Yeah, this is like a passed down kind of generational trauma thing that you have worked on and they have not. They're showing it like, okay, so you know how when you, how can I say this? Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to try to give an example. When I was growing up, I spent school year with my mom up north, and then I would spend the summer at my dad's house, and usually he lived down south. He lived all over, but usually it was in the south. And so when I was in the south for 3 months, I'd pick up a little bit of twang to the way I talk, just because that's what I was around. There's something about that, about how when you were around them, you kind of picked up their behaviors or their manners. And this is not a dig at you. Again, that's what happens. I picked up a twang in 3 months. So when you were around them, maybe you process things differently. It's like you got some distance, and now that helped you over, because I don't know how to say this, you're not in it anymore. So you're not, you're more aware of the manipulation or toxicity or whatever it is. There's something about that. Something about not being in that energy. And so you no longer have the same mentality or something. And you set healthier boundaries, and it feels like they're still very much wrapped in it. And so they don't, I don't know. I keep wanting to say they don't necessarily see it, but I feel like on some level they do see it. But again, when you're in it, it's so much harder to get out. What's interesting is the whole time I'm sitting here, I don't feel much masculine energy here. So I feel like this has to do with like a lot of women, mothers, sisters, female cousins. I don't know what that's about, or feminine energy. Even if it is like a man, they're in a more feminine energy right now. I don't feel so. This is definitely not like a romance relationship message. How long have I been rambling on? Don't even know. Oh my gosh, 35 minutes already. But I also think that has something to do with people who sort of avoid their masculine energy, because we've all got both, which is, it just means they're more they don't take action. They ignore confrontation. And look, confrontation isn't fun for anybody, but sometimes it's necessary. Doesn't mean it's, confrontation doesn't always have to be like argumentative. You have to confront something, but somebody like shies away from that. They're more passive aggressive. They don't confront things directly, or they shut down altogether. I don't know, ignore it altogether. Yeah, there's a lot of avoidant behavior in this. Avoidant, and maybe that's sort of the family way. I know that's my family way. We don't talk about things, not anything real, just gossip. Yeah, that's like their MO. We just kind of sweep things under the rug. We don't talk about what happened. We don't talk about, so-and-so did this to so-and-so, unless we're gossiping about other family members. We don't talk about it amongst ourselves. There's some aspect of that to this. There's some kind of trait that you have overcome. And again, it feels like maybe it was passed down to you. I'm not digging at anybody's parents or family or whatever. It happens. Happened to me. It's some kind of trait that was passed down that you have overcome, and you recognize they have overcome. But like I said, you went one way, they went the other. And it's still there to a certain degree. I'm just saying that's what I'm supposed to say. Like you've done amazing, but if you're honest with yourself, there's a little bit, like when you think of this person, it still kind of irks you. But they say you're working on it. You're gonna get through it. Nobody's judging you. I feel like this person may want to reach out. I'm trying to figure out why. Like, can you trust it? I know I've gone so long, but I'm trying to, like, there has to be a reason we're getting this. Just trying to see what their intentions are. Honestly, I don't know if you can hear that bird, but as soon as I said that, like landed in front of me and started chirping away. Hello. Can you hear that? I feel like there's an aspect of wanting to heal something. They want to reach out and heal something, and they don't know how. This just took a whole different turn, and I feel like I'm gonna cry. They recognize something. They recognize behaviors. They recognize what they thought you were running from. Like, I feel like that was their opinion, like you were running from. But you were just I feel like you tried, and you got to a point where, like, I just can't do this. I have to pull away. And now they're recognizing, like, why you felt you had to do that. I'm hearing bygones be bygones, bygones be bygones. And I think that's the problem. They don't know how to address this because this is not what they do. They don't, like I said, they avoid things. So it's like, I start to recognize, um, for example, mom and dad taught us this and I didn't see it and you did, and now I understand why you left, but I don't know how to approach this again because I don't feel like this is something that happens in the family a lot where we confront things and we actually talk about real things. But they want to, and they may even want to apologize for something. And again, there's some sort of age gap or maturity level gap. This person's either older than you or again, like there's an age gap. Whether, again, that's like literal physical big distance in age or just a big distance in maturity levels. They have less emotional intelligence. Which stands true in my family too. I actually have a high, I was going to say IQ. Well, I have a high IQ, but I have a high EQ of a 143. So most people's emotional intelligence is lower than mine, but my family's very, very, anyway. But they want to try. And I guess it's really up to you whether or not, you want to take part in this or if you trust this, because I feel like the intention is good. It's just that they are a certain way. They're avoidant. They're still in that energy of however the family handles those toxic things. I feel like they're trying to connect with you energetically. I don't know if you blocked them or something, but like they're feeling like they can't get in touch with you somehow. And something about somebody seeing how you were not given enough, and maybe you used to speak on that. So like, let's say you grew up in a toxic family and you were sort of the scapegoat or the black sheep or whatever, and you go along and at first you don't recognize that, right? We don't when we're young. That's all we know. And then you start to recognize that. Maybe you start trying to say like, you never had to work when you were a kid. They made me go to work as soon as I was old enough, or you got this with support, or they always showed up to your functions. No one came to my soccer game, or whatever it was. Like you used to speak on that maybe, and they didn't see it, and now they do. Now they see that you did not get the same support that everybody else did. But you have to know that some way that was in your family, you recognize caused an inner critic in yourself. But the message is, they also had that inner critic. Like that was instilled in them as well. Just maybe they hid it better, or I don't know. But the message is, you should know that they also had it, and that's what drove them. It's just like I said, they went a different direction. They handled it differently. There's some aspect of you maybe felt dismissed or like ignored in the family. I don't know if maybe you were a middle child or something like that, or like I said, scapegoat or the black sheep or something. And there's something about you feeling like you were dismissed, or people just didn't hear you, or people didn't take the time this is in my family, I'll speak for me. Like I've always felt like nobody ever got to know who I really was because they were so busy creating the persona they needed me to be. When a family's doing a lot of dirt and they need to pin it on someone, well, you have to appear to be a bad person so I can pin this on you. You know what I mean? It was like they were so busy creating this other persona, and like that's not even who I am at all. There's like some aspect of that. And so, man, you're getting a lot of props today. Your guides are giving you props for, like, you had to nurture yourself. You were not nurtured. And you had to do that yourself. Ooh, I'm going to cry. And they're just acknowledging, like, all your growth. And for someone, this goes even further because your guides are saying that you have recently recognized that whatever was passed down, let's say, for example, you did grow up in a toxic family, and you're like, oh, my parents neglected me or shouldn't have been parents, or whatever that feeling was. You have recently realized, like, oh, they had their own, like, it, not that you're forgiving and forgetting, but you're recognizing they were responding to, like, their own upbringing, or they, you know what I mean, they were from a different era or something like that. You're getting props for recognizing that. I mean, it doesn't take away pain, but it does help to understand, like, everybody is going through their own battles, right? And you have recently, like, acknowledged that or come to terms with that, or it's all about gosh, this is nice. You're healing stuff, and you're I don't know how to say this. You're getting out of that energy of, you did this to me, so I should have did this to you, and I should have done that, and took this. Like, it's all outgrowing that and seeing, like, why people behave the way they behave. Seeing, like, it wasn't really personal. It was like they were fighting their own demons, and like that. You're, like, really getting a lot of credit for that, and that much healing. That's a lot of healing. Because believe me, I've known people who lived their entire lives and never got there. So that much healing is what's bringing in some kind of justice. I keep saying that's gonna, like, change your life. Whew, okay, I've gone way too long. You probably won't even listen this far, but I'm happy for you. Sending positive energy away, guys.